Hi guys, welcome back. Lose Weight Sarah is the name of a YouTube channel, and Sarah is the name of the YouTuber that went on a journey 4 years ago to lose 100 pounds. So we're going to go in the Walk, Talk, Vent time machine back 4 years ago, watch how she felt before she lost the weight. Then we're going to go back to the future 3 years and see how she feels after she lost the weight. It's a fascinating story the way I put it together because I'm cool like that. Let's check this out.
As I said, my name is Sarah. I'm in my late 30s and I live in Oklahoma. I have struggled with my weight for almost my entire life. I think I can remember going on diets pretty much when I was 9 and 10 years old and just always being teased or made fun of for being overweight. Well, I've lost weight a few times, but obviously I've put it back on. So I am starting the journey over, this time a little bit more organized and a little bit more planned out than I've done in the past. If you watched any of my earlier videos on the channel, you probably noticed that I was trying to have VSG, or vertical sleeve gastrectomy, which is a weight loss surgery. That's what all of my doctors recommend. The problem is my insurance didn't cover it, so that was out of the picture. That was about 7 months ago, and I can tell you with a straight face that I have done jack squat to do anything or even try to lose weight. I maybe will go through it for a week and then just stop. And that's kind of my MO, is I have trouble sticking to a plan. So I decided to start up my YouTube channel again. I had originally made it so that people who were trying to take the steps to learn about VSG, they could follow along with me as I learned. But since that didn't work out, we have to go in a new direction. I feel inside that I'm currently ready to embark on this journey again and finally lose this weight in a way that's manageable. I feel like there is not a time that I haven't been trying to lose weight in my life. I actually was really successful about 3 years ago. I was doing a specific diet. I lost a ton of weight. It was like 55, almost 60 pounds by the time I stopped doing that diet. And then it all went to hell and I gained it all back in like a year.
Okay, so this is why I thought she was interesting. She was going to do the VSG. For whatever reason, the insurance fell through. And God, what a bummer. You even set up your own YouTube channel thinking you were going to show people the experience, and then your insurance doesn't let you do it. Very, very disheartening.
So I really needed to start this journey, again, the obvious reasons. I want to look better. I want to be healthier. I want to live a decently long life. But a big part of that is feeling better. The weight that I've gained over the last, I'm going to say 2 years, has really just made me obsessed with it. I probably think about food way too often. I definitely think about working out, but I don't always do it. So I'm going to say that the last year got really rough for me. And I know it's all related to my current weight. I get shortness of breath all the time. I'm tired all the time because I'm dragging around an extra X amount of pounds. Just don't feel good about myself, and that impacts my mood. That on top of the, obsessing over food, it has to stop and I have to do something. So this is my introduction video, but the videos that I'm going to be doing to follow along with my journey, the first video I'll put out is going to be my meal plan. I actually created a 4-week meal plan. I also created a 4-week workout / exercise plan that I'm pretty excited about. It's not anything too crazy. What I plan to do is every Friday I'll put out a weigh-in video, and then every Sunday I will release a new video with my recapping my meal plan again for the upcoming week, and then just talking about my progress and how the week before went. My goal is really to just be real with you. I think making videos every now and then to kind of talk through those struggles will really be helpful. I probably need real therapy, but my insurance doesn't cover it. So this will kind of be like my vent session and just getting some of that emotional stuff out, because a lot of people don't realize that weight loss isn't just about, calories in, calories out, and then exercising. There's a lot more emotionally. hang on to stuff differently. So it's not just the weight. There's, the physical body weight, and then there's the weight that's up in here.
What a nightmare. You talk to your doctor, he feels like, yeah, maybe getting this surgery is the right thing. Your insurance doesn't come through. Then you decide, hey, I'm going to tackle it like I did before, and I'm going to really try my best. And you want to attack the mental side of it too by maybe going to a counselor, and your insurance doesn't come through again. What a bummer. If you've ever experienced anything like that, please share with us in the comments.
But this is mostly a tool for me to hold myself accountable, because I want to put this information out there. I want to help other people, and I don't want you to feel alone, because especially when you're the only one in your household, losing weight or being on a diet, or, just trying to complete a weight loss journey can be really lonely and isolating. And who needs that on top of everything else? Just so you know, how much weight I actually have to lose. I'm currently about 275 pounds. That's a guess. I'm about to weigh in for my next video right after I finish creating this one, which leaves me with about 100 pounds to lose. I think a goal weight for me would be somewhere in the 175, 185 range.
So check this out. She has a ton of videos. So if you want to go back in time with me, but on your own, and take a look at her progress, you can. But we're not done with her just yet. I'm going to check out another video right now. So check this out. We're here now. We've gone in the future 120 pounds, which means no matter how you slice or dice it, Sarah is a brand new person. Thanks to our time machine, we can see it instantaneously. Isn't that cool? In the last video, she got declined by her insurance for the VSG surgery, but now come to find out she did get it done. Let's check this out. This ought to be super interesting.
Thinking about how to kick off this video. To tell you the truth, I started working on my outline probably about 3 weeks ago. I've just been stuck on really what's the right thing to say, what's the right way to call the things I have been feeling. Do they have a name? Is there a word for it? But then I figured, you know what? Screw it. It's 2024. It's a new year. Let's just go right into it and just call it as it is. So really, I lost 120 pounds and then had an identity crisis.
How many times have you seen that little light up tree behind her on Amazon? I see it every day. If you guys have seen it, let me know in the comments.
When I say identity crisis, I mean it. I started thinking, like, who am I? Who am I if I'm not actively trying to lose weight? For the last, 15 or 30 years, I don't know, maybe longer even. I don't know. I think I was about 8 years old when I went on my first diet. It was
Oh my God, to my regular viewers, this is kind of weird because if you remember, we were just talking about the Twilight Zone. She's almost describing a Twilight Zone scenario. Imagine you're 8 years old and you embark on your very first diet. For the next 30 some odd years of your life, you're constantly going on different diets with a struggle to lose weight, right? Or maintain your weight, whatever the case might have been. Now, all of a sudden, you feel like a different person in a different skin in a different world, and you don't know what to do with yourself. That's crazy.
between 8 and 9. I know it was around then. Since then, my weight has always been something that's on my mind. It's something I'm always thinking about. And now that I don't have to, what do I think about? It's been part of my daily life for literal decades, and now it doesn't have to be. And for a while, I sort of just shut down and went through the motions of life. I did eventually find a new job. I started a new job at the end of October. Is it my dream job? No, but it pays the bills and I really like the people I work with. That being said, when I really started feeling this way, I was basically newly unemployed. I went through kind of that weird thing where I had gotten a job and then they said, oh no, just kidding, you're not really getting hired. And I was just sort of ready to not do anything. I also had nothing but time to think, and the more that I thought about things, the more it started to feel like grief, like I was grieving over this old life of mine where I was just constantly worrying and wanting to lose weight. And here I am, I've gotten, what I've always wanted. I've lost 120 pounds and I'm feeling sad about it. It just was so, I don't know, the only word I can think of is confusing. I was giving a lot of thought to all the things that I would no longer have to do. I would no longer be doing these crazy diets, no longer cutting out every different food group that you could think of, no sugar, no carbs, no this, no that, no fat, low fat, high fat. The list goes on and on. I was doing all these things. And most importantly, no more binge eating. I should have felt so happy about this. I should feel so liberated. And I was for a bit. But then kind of all these combination of things happened and it just kind of fell off for me.
Sounds like she literally had a divorce from food and her old life. It really is like a Twilight Zone. If you've gone through this, you've got to tell us in the comments. Everything that she's talking about, she thought she wanted, and deep down she does. She looks great, obviously. But even when she was bigger, I thought she was a pretty woman, right? So it's just super duper interesting. You are the collection of your life's experiences. So if your experience was going from one diet to another, which, let's face it, diets are challenges, right? There's something that can be fun and enjoyable about that for people, taking on a new challenge. Now that challenge is no longer there. What do you do with yourself?
Yes, I lost all the weight. Yes, I cured my binge eating. Yes, I did all these things and accomplished all these things that I really wanted to do and had wanted to do for all my life. And here I am. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling confused, I'm feeling lost, and then I'm feeling bad about feeling all those bad things. I should be so thrilled that, I don't have these bad habits. I actually live a healthy life. I actually am, able to just go into a store and buy clothes in my size without having to even try stuff on most of the time. I should have been really happy, and I wasn't. And that's why I haven't really done a whole lot as far as, YouTube goes and social media in general, because I was just, I don't know. I felt like I would be lying, even though there was nothing for me to lie about. I just couldn't bring myself to talk about weight loss because I had to really let those emotions go. All these things definitely did improve when I got a job, mainly because I'm so busy at this job. I don't have time to think about literally anything else, let alone weight loss. But I will say the thing that has helped the most is the gym. I have become a gym girl and I'm so proud of myself. I'm really proud of everything that I've accomplished there.
So I'm glad she said that. And what I was going to let you guys know at home is that if you join me and join Walk Talk Venters on our daily walk, we also encourage each other to drink a lot of water and to avoid sugar. Whether you're overweight or whether you're the perfect weight, those are three things that you can do forever. So you never really lose yourself. The fact that she decided to go to a gym is basically the equivalent of the walk, in my opinion. So even though she doesn't need to lose a bunch of weight any longer, just going to the gym keeps her in that world that she didn't really want to fully get away from. You don't want to lose yourself completely. You learn some lessons when you're going through troubled times, right?
I have a sweatshirt on right now, but let me show you kind of what we're working with here. I have just done so many improvements. Look at this. Look at this. I never ever thought I would see the day that I would have legit arm muscles, legit back muscles. I almost dare say that I have like almost visible abs up top here. I did take a video of me in front of like my full length mirror that I'm gonna pop up here, but like in certain spots, like you can see my rib cage. Like I ain't getting any smaller. But besides just being small, I am trying to get stronger. I am getting stronger, I should say. I already started with a personal trainer about a month ago, and that has been a really big push because she challenges me to do more, and I'm pushing the limits of what I know to do, and I'm learning so much about being in the gym and getting fit and exercise and working out and all these things that I was so almost afraid of to do in my past life that it's really helped get my mind out of that, well, let's not worry about weight loss, let's worry about muscle gain. And it's not really a worry, it's more like a challenge to myself. So I think my focus for 2024 is really just going to be getting stronger both physically and also mentally. I thought I had done a really good job preparing myself for what life was going to be like after I lost the weight, and the truth of the matter is I didn't do enough.
Before we finish up this video, I want you to think about how she looked just a couple minutes ago when we saw her from 4 years earlier. She was a little bit more overweight, and while she does look gorgeous now, she looks almost like an actress now, right? She did look younger 4 years ago. And I don't mean that in a slight in any way, but chubby people tend to look 10 years younger. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments.
I really wasn't ready to be like, okay, I'm done. Probably because it was such a huge part of my daily life. It was something that I constantly was thinking about on a day-to-day, and I just have to let that go. I know now, and I realize that I actually have to just continue healing mentally my past self so that I'm able to move forward. And I have to just not forget about where I came from, but leave it in the past where it belongs. Truth be told, it's the first time in years that my goal for the year doesn't include something about weight loss. It's incredibly freeing, but also at the same time, really super weird. I am very happy with how I look right now.
So anyway, I'm glad that we got to see that. I love when we can go back and see how somebody was before they went through a surgery or before they took on a diet, and then when we can fast forward and kind of see the end. She's got a lot of videos in the middle, so if you really liked her and you'd like to see a little bit more of her, let me know down in the comments. But with that, there is one thing that's interesting. When it comes to the loose skin, I've seen some people lose a whole bunch of weight and they have very little loose skin. And then I've seen people lose a whole bunch of weight and they have a ton of loose skin. I would imagine that once you get rid of one problem in your life, there's always going to be something else that pops up, right? So as long as you remember, life is always a continuous journey. And speaking of continuous journey, Venters, go get your shoes on. Let's go for a walk. Venters, I want to wish each and every one of you the happiest Memorial Day ever. Remember, I can do this, you can do this, we can do this. Let's do this. Let's finish out this last 20 days strong. Yay! Good morning, Venters. Happy Sunday, or in your case, Monday. There's something very important that I think we should talk about. I'm sure you guys have all been thinking about it going into this weekend. You know, this is the weekend where Memorial Day weekend is one where many families, at least here in the States, take to the barbecue, invite the whole family over, gorge themselves on hot dogs, hamburgers, bratwurst, and maybe even some potato salad. Oh my God, you gotta eat mom and dad's potato salad, don't you? And a lot of times it's one of those situations where we just eat way more than we should. It's probably not as many calories that we collect like Thanksgiving would be, or maybe Christmas meal with the family, right? By the way, you know why Christmas has us gaining just as much weight as Thanksgiving, in my opinion? Because back in the day, people's parents stayed married a little bit longer, so your family outings weren't double. And what I mean by that is, what happens when your mom and dad divorce? You end up spending Christmas with your mom, and then you end up going and spending Christmas with your dad, and then you end up going and spending Christmas with your spouse's mom, and then your spouse's dad, and before you know it, you've eaten not one or two Christmas dinners, you've eaten 3 or 4. Tell me I'm wrong. Don't a lot of us do that, where we end up splitting duty, going to all these different homes? So here's my take on it. The reason that I think you will love the walk, talk, vent protocol or diet plan or exercise plan is because if you're constantly losing calories because you're constantly walking, and you're constantly avoiding calories, liquid calories, by drinking water, and a lot of calories by avoiding the desserts and the sugars, right? then what it enables us to do is it enables us to actually go to festivities with family and friends on special days like Memorial Day. And it allows you to not only survive the cookout, but thrive. Because here's the thing, we have a gift with this plan that I like to call extra credit. What's extra credit, Jesse? Well, extra credit, as you know, Bob, is where instead of your 1.5 hour walk a day, there's nothing stopping you from having a 15 or 20-minute walk at your lunch break at work, right? There's nothing stopping you from having another half-hour walk late in the evening when the sun goes down. So if all of a sudden, instead of 20 or 30 minutes a day, you're walking maybe a little bit closer to 60 to 90 minutes a day, it enables you to have that occasional hot dog and hamburger with the family without stressing out. Now, if you have a bratwurst is kind of like a mix between a hot dog and a hamburger. Absolutely love them, right? They remind me of Farmer John's sausages, just bigger and more juicier and yummier, right? So what you want to do is maybe don't have that on a bun. Maybe have that by itself. Maybe split one of those giant bratwursts with your husband or wife. And of course, they're going to want one and your half, right? But those are things that, again, we could ditch them and end up saying, oh, God, the food smells great, but I'm going to stay away from it. Or you can trust your plan. Last year, you had hot dogs, hamburgers, cake, soda, the whole 9 yards. Why don't you make a choice to have hot dogs, hamburgers, maybe even a little piece of cake, right? But why don't we make this the year that you stay away from the Pepsi, right? Why don't we make this the year where instead of having half a dozen Cokes over the course of a day with the family, why don't you just have water, right? That way you're not a booger. That way when somebody says, man, I slaved over this grill for an hour to make these burgers and stuff, and now, Patty, you're not going to have one? No, Patty, grab a burger, just stay away from the soda. Let's make the impact less than what it would have been in previous years, and I consider that a win. Now, if you're 169 pounds and after this weekend you end up becoming 171, guys, I think that's something we can live with and we can walk it right off. Remember, in life, there's not just Memorial Day, there's birthdays, there's anniversaries, there's Christmas, there's Thanksgiving, there's a million special occasions. We can use those special occasions as those specific days where we get off of our diet. I think it works perfectly. As you get older and your family tree grows, if you have a family tree growing, you're going to have more and more special occasions, more and more opportunities to try out your teeth on cake and ice cream, And remember, grandkids, they love having their first Shirley Temple with their parents and grandparents. They love having their first bowl of Fruity Pebbles with grandma and grandpa. You know as well as I do, people get stuck in the ice creams they buy. If you're a fan of Rocky Road, guess what's in your freezer? Rocky Road. If you're a fan of cookies and cream, guess what's in your freezer? Cookies and cream. It is your job as a grandparent to take your child to Thrifty and show them the beauty of the one or the double scoop, right? Go out and show them that, hey, have you ever tried pistachio ice cream? Have you ever tried pralines and cream? There's more to life than mint chocolate chip and cookies and cream and Rocky Road. There's a million different flavors out there. It's your job as a grandparent to make sure that your grandchildren have tried the unique flavors, right? So again, can we fear holidays like Memorial Day? Of course we can. But you want to know something? The morning of the hot dog festivities, there's nothing stopping you from waking up a half hour earlier, and instead of a 20 or 30-minute walk, why don't you make today the day in which you take a 1 hour walk? Why don't you make today the day in which you ditch the soda for water? Hey, good morning. God, that guy's a trooper. You should have seen the sweat stain on the front of his shirt. Just amazing. Simply by walking in the heat. So this is my plan. Tell me if you think it's crazy. And of course, that you're your own person. You've probably dived into your think tank already about this, and if you haven't, you got to remember, guys, that's the part of your walk that you have to learn to take advantage of. Dive into your think tank and make a proactive decision about how you're going to handle not only Memorial Day, but Labor Day and Easter and Thanksgiving and Christmas. A lot of these holidays where we get together as family and barbecue. How can we plan to attack this in a way that doesn't ruin everybody's holiday? And by the way, if you don't drink soda, I don't think you're going to ruin anybody's holiday. And if you decide that out of brats, hot dogs, and hamburgers and chicken, you know, that you're going to go ahead and have chicken and maybe one hot dog and that's it, I don't think that's going to ruin anything. Don't make a scene out of it, though. I'm on a diet, I'm not eating anything, I'm just going to have my little salad over here. Don't do that. Go have yourself a hamburger. Go have yourself a hot dog. If eating those things for whatever reason do make you feel guilty, eat them without the bun, okay? Eat them without the ketchup. If you're one of these people that says, oh my God, ketchup is like eating a spoonful of sugar, then don't eat the ketchup, eat it with mustard. By the way, just out of curiosity, some people love mayonnaise on their hamburger patty. Some people like ketchup. Some people like mustard. If you could only have one, because I like ketchup and mustard, but if you could only have one on your hamburger patty, which condiment would it be? Would you go for ketchup? Would you go for mustard? Would you go for mayo? Would you go for Thousand Islands? Didn't think I was going to go there, did you, Lily? Thousand Islands is, I believe that's the secret sauce that McDonald's uses on their Big Mac, don't they? Or something like that. I've always been told they use something special. I bet it's just Thousand Islands. But here's the thing, guys. There's always going to be a birthday party or something that can ruin your diet and exercise plan. If you're really proud of yourself and you're really staying away from these foods that have a negative connotation with you and your past, then just ignore what I'm saying and stay away from the stuff, okay? Make yourself some alternative foods, right? So while everybody else is having French fries and hamburgers, maybe you can have carrot sticks, celery sticks, and baked chicken. Whatever the situation is to make it more doable for you, but that is where you want to start diving into your think tank and ask yourself in advance, what's a good proactive plan that I can have when it comes to, you know, attacking food with family at the holidays? And remember, food brings us together. There's this place in Phoenix, it's an Italian restaurant, and it's called Buca's. I think it's called Buca di Beppo. And it's one of these places that's really unique because when you go in there, they serve you family-sized portions, or at least they used to. I haven't been there in like 4 or 5 years. But instead of ordering a plate of spaghetti for yourself, they bring you out like a bowl that kind of feeds the whole family, and then everybody else can kind of feed off of it. Sometimes we find ourselves in these restaurants where we feel almost like there's no healthy alternative, right? But in almost every restaurant, you can get a house salad, right? So instead of eating that yummy artichoke dip with those yummy little pieces of bread, right? Why don't you ask for a house salad? Just like that, okay? If you do see breadsticks there, and you know you love breadsticks, you know, why don't you try having 1 or 2 rather than 3 or 4? This is where having a food audit is so important. If you know every time you go to Olive Garden that not only do you have a plate or 2 of their yummy salad, but you know that you also have 4 or 5 of their breadsticks, you know, just by cutting down to 1 or 2 breadsticks, it can really be a big difference for you. Remember, the person that decides I'm only going to have 1 or 2 breadsticks, they're thinking like a medium to skinny-sized person. The person that ignores that and just says, I'm going to eat as many as I can stick into my mouth, right, before I get full, that person is thinking like a medium to heavy-sized version of themselves. So again, these are things that we could really go into our think tank and make a battle plan over. Let me tell you what I would do if I was worried about the holidays and the food that we eat during the holidays. I would basically say, you know what? By staying away from sodas and staying away from the fruit punches and sweet teas, I'm already winning a little bit of the battle just by drinking water. Now that's something I do religiously. It's something that you can do without any issues at this point in the game. If you're still drinking soda, then what I want you to do is to drink 1 or 2 sodas this weekend with family, not 5 or 6. Remember, when you're at an outing for 5 or 6 hours, it's real easy to go back to that cooler or ice chest and grab a 4th, 5th, and 6th soda. Let's do the math. If you get 5 sodas at 150 calories each, then you're drinking 750 calories just on soda this weekend, okay? Ditch that. If you can't ditch it, cut it in half. It's a 3-day weekend. You're only gonna have 3 sodas this weekend. And then come Monday, or Tuesday, I should say, we're gonna go right back to just drinking water. So that's my game plan, because in life, you have half a dozen to a dozen or so special occasions a year. If you do the math, guys, that's about 1 every other month or once a month. Why not enjoy yourself on that day? That's what makes sticking to a diet easier when you have not what I like to call as cheat days. I like to call them life days. Because when you drink a soda and you're stressed and you drink a beer, that isn't cheating on your diet, it's life. Sometimes you need a beer, right? By the way, do I solve my issues and stuff by drinking a beer? No, but at the same time, you always have maybe. If you always have, go enjoy your beer. If you have a problem with beer and alcohol, maybe talk to your doctor and see if you can get some resources on where you can go to maybe slow down with your alcohol consumption. I'm not a drug addiction counselor by any means. I do believe that a lot of people can wean themselves off of drugs and alcohol and cigarettes and stuff, but everybody's different. And if you've tried weaning yourself off and it just leads to more and more consumption of these bad things, then I think you owe it to you and your family to see if you can find a counselor. If you absolutely cannot find a counselor, go to your church and see if they have any free counseling. Jesse, those people aren't real counselors. Sometimes just talking to somebody that cares is all the counseling a person needs. One of the things that really sabotages a lot of us is we internalize a lot of our problems, and it ends up making us feel like we're all alone. Sometimes when you share your problems with somebody that is supposed to keep it confidential, like a counselor, sometimes just the act alone feels like it's lifting a weight off of our shoulders. You don't want stress in your life, guys. When you stress out about certain things, I think that slows down the weight loss. I bet you there are a couple people right now that are on a diet and they are just freaked out about the idea of the family picnic today. When in reality, you should be rejoicing because your family's going to be there. There's going to be a time in the future where you might not be able to have a family outing on the holidays, Cherish these moments. We want you to be able to enjoy times with your family. Remember, the reason you're diet and exercising is so that when these moments pop up in the future, you can be there with your family to enjoy them. So again, don't try to get out of family outings. Don't try to ditch family outings or be the person that's, totally sticking to their diet. You diet so that you can enjoy the family outings. Do you see the difference there? So again, is it the last 3 or 4 weeks of our challenge? And do I want you to go at it gung-ho? Yes. But I don't think if you mess up for a day or two, I don't think it's going to mess up things for you at all. And by the way, when I go to family outings, they already know I like to drink water, So a lot of times wherever I go, whether it's my daughter's house or whether it's a friend or family, a lot of times they just know I'm going to offer Jesse either something unsweetened like tea, or I'm going to offer him a bottled water, or whatever the case might be. And I think you can kind of get that situation with your family too. And imagine if you're eating every single thing that the family does, except you're drinking water, no one's going to ask you anything. Just tell them you're trying to quit soda, No big deal. Remember, you don't have to tell everybody that you're on a diet and exercise plan, because you're not. You're on a lifestyle plan, right? You want to walk for the rest of your life. You want to try to make good food decisions for the rest of your life. That has nothing to do with a temporary diet. And I don't think family members need to know, because if you end up telling them you're on a diet, end up not eating with them at the family outing, and then a week and a half later you fall off the wagon and ditch your diet entirely, it makes it look like you missed out on a special occasion. And we don't want you to miss out on special occasions. We want you to have fun. But you can have fun without pigging out. Can we both agree there? Yes, I think we can. So here's the mini goal that I'd like you to consider and contemplate, because it's really your choice. But again, when you're eating with the family, just ditch the soda. Ditch the soda. If you're having multiple hamburgers, put the 2 hamburger patties in 1 burger and just eat a double burger, so to speak, where you're not eating and consuming so much bread. When it comes to the desserts, there's going to be multiple desserts there. Just have one of the multiple desserts, enjoy every taste of it, and then go right back to drinking your water and talking to friends and family. And if they're in the swimming pool, don't be that relative that sits outside and doesn't do anything. Get in the pool and play Marco Polo with them and burn some calories, okay? This is Marco Polo week, where you're supposed to be, you know, the blind person looking for the kids, like this. Marco Polo, you know, it's Marco Polo week, okay? Go in there, don't walk on the pool. Pull your legs up so you're constantly doing a doggy paddle and swimming. These are just things that, again, your heavier friends stand up and, you know, try to reach out for people. Your younger, thinner people, what do? They start swimming and trying to catch people. That's your assignment. You need to swim and show them that, hey, Aunt Patty didn't come to mess around. She's gonna get you, okay? And then just try to swim when you're in the pool. If you guys are doing slip and slide things, right? Sometimes people bring out the slip and slide and put it on the grass. Don't be afraid to run and try the slip and slide. Actually, I take that back. You might get injured, right? But be careful, but don't be against it. If the family's playing a game of 2-hand touch, you never ever play. You stick with the women and just kind of do something else, right? Don't do that. Go play football. Seriously, go play football. Basketball, you know, go out there and try to play. You know, you don't have to be good. They're not going to hold it against you if you're not. Go out there and be the booger that doesn't know how to play. It's fun. Mess up their game. That's what they're going to remember. They're going to say, hey, you remember 3 years ago when Aunt Patty messed up our game? Oh my God, that was so much fun. You know, turn basketball into a giant game of tag. Go get some water balloons, Aunt Patty. Fill up those water balloons. Get those kids running, you know? If one of your kids looks down or is hanging off to the side, go take them for a little walk. Ask them what's going on. And when you're walking with them and they say, Aunt Patty, I just don't like these games, you can say, that's okay. You're a walker, Susie. Come on, walk with Aunt Patty. And then she'll be like, well, I don't really like walking either. Just walk. Aunt Patty, walk. Okay. That's what you got to do with these kids. You got to let them know that you're not going to let them sit off on the sideline, because the person that sits off on the sideline, they grow up to be the one wishing they were more active when they were younger, right? Be Aunt Patty today. Force them into a walk. Say, you're either going to play or we're going to go on a walk. And at the end of the walk, we're going to have a reward. Like a bowl of ice cream, Aunt Patty? No, we're going to have a green, bland banana. No! That's what you want to do. You want to be the aunt that gives out rewards in the form of, you know, sour apples and dull bananas. That's what you want to do. When Halloween trick-or-treaters come around, don't give them Kit Kats and Reese's Pieces. No, have apples ready. They'll look at you like, what the hell is this? Oh my God. I remember one year I lived in an apartment complex and people were trick-or-treating and I didn't have any candy or anything, so I took cans of tomato sauce. I'm such a trickster. I put cans of tomato sauce in their bags. I was like, this will slow them down, you know? Oh, happy Halloween. Here you go, little one. I must have given away a dozen cans of tomato sauce and green beans and corn. God, those kids were eating well that Halloween, I'll tell you. Sometimes I just like to make myself laugh, and man, that Halloween I had so much fun because you got these little kids and they're holding this tiny little thing, and they're not very strong. So when you give them an apple or a can of tomato sauce or a can of pork and beans, I'm telling you, that really slows them down. You're welcome, parents. Your kids didn't get any cavities that year. They got tomato sauce. I bet you've never heard a story like that, have you? Don't give kids poisoned candy. That's for the devilish characters in the world. Give them tomato sauce and fruit and vegetables. That'll change them for the better. That's what your boy Jesse did. I'm a little embarrassed to tell you that because it's a true story, but man, I laughed so hard that weekend. You'd see the little kid and they're holding their little, it looks like a little pumpkin jack-o'-lantern with a little handle on it so that they can have some candy in there, and you throw in a thing of tomato sauce and just watch as their hand falls to the ground. Oh my goodness. Now before you get angry, I only had maybe 5 to 10 people that came by my apartment, so I don't want you to think it was a horrible thing. There's nothing wrong with people giving you a can of green beans, nothing wrong at all. One of my favorites for the family get-togethers is green bean casserole. My ex-mother-in-law, God rest her soul, she's up in heaven, her name was Colette Edwards, and Colette gave me my first taste of green bean casserole. If you're a fan of green bean casserole as well, please let me know. Absolutely love that stuff. I even love the little crunchies that go on top of it, That is good stuff. God, I miss my mother-in-law. If you're a mother or father-in-law, as well as I do, there's a lot of people that think mother and father-in-laws are just, and in-laws in general, are just not the most fun to hang around with. Don't be that mother and father-in-law. Be in your son and daughter-in-law's life. Let them know that you do care. If they are the parent of your grandchildren, then they are your family, right? Get rid of the law. They're your son, they're your daughter. And that's how my mother-in-law treated me. She treated me, God, almost better than she did her own children, just a wonderful woman. Colette, I will love you forever. And you are my mother, even though me and your daughter are divorced. You are in my heaven. That would be a wonderful thing. I go up there to heaven and my mother-in-law's there. That would be really wonderful. Jesse, would you let your ex-wife in heaven? Of course I would. Of course. Because I want my son and everybody to be in my heaven, and it wouldn't be heaven without everybody, right? So, yeah, she was just a great, great person. And I challenge you, if you haven't been the best mother or father-in-law, I challenge you to baby step your way away from that and to change that and become close with your in-laws. Because I'll tell you what, if you can let your son-in-law know that he's not some loser jerk, but he actually has value in your life and he is wanted and loved by your family, I'll tell you what, that goes a long way to keeping their marriage stronger. It's easy to hate your son-in-law after the divorce. It's a little bit more challenging to still care for him after the divorce. And even after I got a divorce, my mother-in-law Colette treated me with kindness, decency, and love. So that's one of those things that we all have the ability to do. We all have the ability to treat people decently. And so that's my challenge for you. Treat everybody well, okay? Now, if that person beat up your daughter or cheated on your daughter and gave her some horrible disease or did something really heinous and bad, you don't have to be super duper loving to people that are doing bad. But if they had a split up, things didn't work out, he's still the, father to your grandchildren, don't necessarily throw him in the trash, If he wants to be in your life, it's still valuable for him to be in your lives, Sometimes, maybe not always, but, there's exceptions. So anyway, I know a lot of you guys are worried about the holiday. My thinking is enjoy the holiday, because that way you can learn in the future that you don't really need to stress out about holidays. Holidays are supposed to be wonderful moments if you guys think about it, you know? And again, if you usually like getting together with half of your family for Christmas Eve and the other half for Christmas, you know, if you do end up eating a little bit more than you'd like, just walk a little bit more the following week, drink a little bit more water, stay away from sugar a little bit more hardcore, and you should be just fine. Again, even if you never drink water or never quit your sugar, I've shared stories of multiple people now that have just lost weight by just walking. And the cool thing about people that lose weight by walking, I love how they all say, I didn't change nothing to my diet. Guys, when people tell you that, they're giving you the secret sauce right there. If you don't have to change your diet, and by walking you lose weight regardless, what's taking you so long? Go get your shoes. I'm out here every day. And it's not just me, by the way. There's about a dozen or so of us that are literally out here every single day. You'll see them in the comment section. You'll see people saying, hey, my clothes are starting to feel a little bit looser. Hey, I'm down 5 pounds. Yay. Don't belittle your accomplishments, because 5 pounds this month might be an additional 6 or 7 pounds next month. And before you know it, you string together 3, 4, 5 months in a row where you're losing 3, 4, 5 pounds. And before you know it, you're a completely different person. Before you know it, when you're smaller, you can eat that extra bratwurst and it doesn't necessarily ruin everything. So remember, even if you do end up being that person that doesn't want to eat like the rest of the family today, let them know that you're going through some changes so that in the future holidays you can eat with them.